The Georgia race is coming. The Georgia special election for the 14th congressional district is on April the 7th, so we were almost there. And this is the video we're going to cover the main aspects, and I'll also have at the end of the video my final projection until the race, because we're not going to have another video about this race until the election. We can have Wisconsin Supreme Court, also New Jersey's special election, a lot of them in April. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you're new, and let's get to the video. As you can see over here, these are the results we got in the special election, the primary, or I mean, it's a non-partisan primary. So as you know, Georgia and California, those are some states that we have this. It's just an example, so we have more, but California also has a non-partisan primary. Georgia, same thing. So that's why it's a jungle primary, they call it, and that's why we have a lot of these results, as you can see over here. Shawn Harris, the Democrat, won with 37% in the district that voted for Trump by almost 30 points, or more than 30 points, if I'm not mistaken. So this is the point. You're probably asking yourself, how is that possible? How is it possible to have a swing of 30 points? You don't have a swing of 30 points, let's be honest, because even though Shawn Harris got 37%, you can add here all the Democrats, and if you add up, you can see here we have a Democrat getting 1.5, so Democrats getting around in the ballpark of 40% or so. That's why this is not a swing of 30, it's a swing of 10. And now people are asking, is there a way in which Shawn Harris can win the special election runoff with Clayton Fuller? That's really what is the question for many people, because it's really hard to imagine that scenario. I mean, he won the election with 2.4, the first round, the non-partisan primary. Now he needs to get 13 points, but he can get up to 40, 43. That's my main projection, but he cannot get a lot above that. Only in one case, that's what I'm gonna say right now. There's one case in which Shawn Harris can actually win the election, if we have very, very low turnout and very high turnout in Cobb County, in Paulding County, also in Whitfield County, a lot of Latinos there. It's one of the highest percentage of counties in Latinos in the state of Georgia. If that is the case, Shawn Harris have a shot. But I don't expect that to be ultimately the case, so we need to be very cautious here. Shawn Harris also knows that, and that's really the point here. But I mean, it's not impossible. It's not impossible. This was the results in 2024. Of course, Marjorie Taylor Greene, former congresswoman, won this in a landslide, almost 30 points against Shawn Harris, as you can see here. But Shawn Harris did well in places like Cobb County, also in Paulding County. He won in both, also won in Floyd and in Whitfield. Whitfield is a very interesting county because this is the counties where it swung to the right by the highest percentage in 2024. It's a very Latino county in Georgia's percentages. Of course, not Latino if you compare it to, for example, Seminole in Florida or Osceola County. Those are very high Latino population. But in terms of Georgia's standards, that's actually a very competitive county in terms of Latinos. So that's why Shawn Harris was able to get the highest shift. You can just compare right here. So he got in the ballpark of 34% in Whitfield County in 2024. Right now, not in the two-way race with more candidates, he got 39. So he's probably going to get around 45 when everything is counted here. 55, 45. That's a swing of 20 points. That's great. If he replicates the swing, it's not enough to win, but it's enough to be competitive. That's not what happens in all of the parts. We also have here Colin Moore winning one county. He got Floyd County as well, 40% when he got 34% against another very important win around Rome. Shawn Harris had in Rome a rally with Pete Buttigieg, former candidate in the Democratic primary in 2020. And also, he needs to get, I mean, Cobb County, look at this, 49%, also in Paulding, 40%. And this is very interesting. Look, Tom Gray expected to go well in terms of the Republican primary. He did not even get 4%. And for example, Clayton Fuller got 35%. Why? Because he was Trump endorsed. And that's what happens usually when Trump endorses a candidate. He just blow everything out. He was not able to get to the first place because of the early in-person voting. It was very aggressively towards Shawn Harris, as it is expected overwhelmingly every time the Democrats have in a race. The early vote is more Democratic, the election day vote more Republican. That was a very curiosity about the election day vote. Colin Moore got 12%, was able to get the election day vote in a very great standard, as you can see over here. He even won a county, as we say, Dade County. But if you compare, for example, what is the mean in terms of the mean for this race in terms of the House? What is the meaning for this? So as you can see here, the Democrats have 215, the Republicans have 220. These numbers are a bit changed because we have a lot of vacancies. We have, I think, 2 or 3 in the Democratic side. And then we have, one in the Democratic side. New Jersey is the 11th congressional district. In the Republican side, we have, I think, that one in Georgia, of course, and we also have another one in California. We'll have a primary for that. It's also in jungle primary a couple of months from now. I think it's in June or so. But as you can see here, this is the district. This is the district, the 14th. This was a very Republican district, as I showed you before. It voted for 30 points. And if that shifts, we can just imagine a scenario for 2026 midterms, because it can actually mean the Democrats are making inroads, probably getting over 250 seats. That's not plausible, even though it may flip. I'm not saying, in my opinion, it won't, but it may flip. And even if it does, that's not that doesn't have a huge meaning, because it's a special election. If it flips, it means a low turnout election, so it's not really significant. We need to wait for that. The early voting is starting just a couple of days from now, so we need to be very cautious with those results. As soon as we have, I think I'm gonna do a short video about that when we have results, like in the previous day before the election or so. But as you can see here as well, I just want to say something. We have a video in the channel about this race. I interviewed Shawn Harris. You can check the interview over there. He answered a lot of questions. I can just show here a lot of the subjects that was mentioned, like affordability, term limit, stock trading, a lot of those aspects. I mean, also war not in Iran, because we didn't have that yet, but we war in Ukraine, also war in Israel and Palestine. We talked a lot about main aspects, as you can see over here, and also ICE, government shutdown. That was a real thing at that point, because I asked a lot about Second Amendment as well, veterans, a lot of policies, also Venezuela, and also Epstein files, voter ID. A lot of tariffs. I mean, we talked a lot about main subjects, and I think it's a very interesting interview. I'm just going to link the link down in the description down below. It's very important that you do really see that. I also invite, and I'm just going to say this because I'm a non-partisan channel. I'm not doing this because I'm a partisan. I support Shawn Harris. I'm not saying that. I also sent a message to Clayton Fuller to interview him, because to give the same opportunity as I gave to Shawn Harris, and he did not answer yet. So if he does until the election, I'm going to interview him, but if he doesn't, that's not my fault. At least I try, because I want to be impartial. That's a very important aspect, at least for me. The impact in terms of the House, as I was saying here, if the Democrats can actually flip the seat, that'll mean they're getting 216, and if they can flip that one in California to 217, so they can actually, I mean, it's very hard to imagine a scenario in which the Democrats pick up the House before 2026 midterms. So I would not say this is a huge meeting, but if Shawn Harris is able to enthusiasm their voters, probably he has a shot at winning. So far, I don't believe in that, and that's just my fair opinion. At least so far, we don't have early vote data. Probably after it may change, but so far I don't see a possibility for Shawn Harris winning. But if you want him to win, you can vote, because you should vote. And if you want Clayton Fuller as well, you should vote as well. So please vote if you're from Georgia. Early vote is starting soon. Also election day on April the 7th. Don't forget as well to subscribe to the channel. Leave your like down below. I'll be back on the Sunday with another video. Thank you.